today I am going to tell you about a guy who spent the most time with Brian Hooker after Lynette went missing on April 4th. Jim Todd. He's a volunteer fire and rescue employee, and he jumped into service, first of all, early in the morning to do this emergency, but then also to stand on the bow of that search and rescue vessel with Brian Hooker.
Here's a dilemma that's unanswerable. Brian said that his wife was driving the dinghy. I understand that her daughter Carly has said that he didn't let her drive the dinghy. Well, he probably did. He happened to mention to me when I was with him and returning him from Marsh Harbor to his boat, he happened to mention to me as a point of pride, as a point of independence, that his boat, Soulmate, had not been tied up to a dock in a marina in 2 years. It had always been on a mooring ball or at anchor. Well, if the boat has been for 2 years on a mooring ball at anchor, Lynette would have learned how to drive the boat. Maybe she didn't drive it a lot, but she would have been competent at it. Now let's go back to that night at approximately 6:30 or 6:45 or 7 o'clock. Sure, typically men drive of a sailing couple. The man might be the one most common to drive the dinghy. But if a man were to pass the controls over to his wife, that would be an indication that the water was very safe, that it was daylight. So if it was getting a little dark, if it was very windy, like I feel like it could have been at least later, then he would have said, I'm going to drive. 99.9% of all men would say, this is tough. I'm going to drive.
Neither of them would have been driving in 2 to 4 foot seas in that little dinghy. But let's just say they got caught in 2 to 4 foot seas when they came out of White Sound Channel. I do believe you're right. I don't think that the weaker person, be it a man or a woman, would have been at the helm. I think the stronger U.S. Marine would have said, let me take over here. This could be hairy.
I would go so far as to say, no way, in bad weather, would he not be at the controls. The assertion that she was at the controls means that the weather was nice. And then, to me, that's sort of the dilemma question. If she was at the control in nice weather and she goes overboard, he can see her.